You're listening to Remotely We Are One, a podcast to help inspire others to take their lives back from the office commute. I'm Rick, a passionate beer rep who loves the industry but hates the commute.
And I'm Kaleem, a remote work advocate and consultant. We're going to speak with some of the top professionals who have managed to avoid the commute as they share stories from the most inspiring to the most comical, all while working remotely.
Man, this sounds exciting. Let's clock in.
Hi, I'm Kaleem Clarkson. I'm from Bangor, Maine, currently in the ATL, and I'm with Blend Me Inc. And right now, we are at the Relead Summit in DC, baby. Let's go.
We are on fire here in DC. We're talking today about leadership's role in building and maintaining social connection strategies. And I'm hoping you might be able to elaborate on, KPIs, what can be used to measure the importance of social connection in the workplace.
So the worst thing about remote work that everyone pretty much agrees on is isolation and loneliness. And this idea of being disconnected, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, I just feel like it's obvious that if you're a leader at a company and you know the biggest challenge of remote work is isolation and loneliness, and loneliness is such a bad thing for your health. It's the equivalent as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Really?
Yeah, being lonely. It's that bad for your health. And if you think about it, that's why they do solitary confinement. You go crazy if you're by yourself that long.
Yeah.
So if you know this, and loneliness can have an impact on productivity, it can reduce productivity by something like, 60%.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know this as a leader, why are you not focusing on building connections, right? So we at Blend, we break our connections down into 3 categories. Professional connections, so mentors, colleagues, going to trade shows or conferences, right? Lifestyle connections. So, hobbies, like to go mountain biking, fishing maybe, making some beer taps or some shit. So yeah, those that's lifestyle, right? And then you have intimate. And a lot of people I don't want companies in my intimacies.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I need you to stay out of the sheets. If you're the company, stay out my sheets. But the reality is that a majority of relationships start at work.
Yes, they do.
And on top of that, intimate, it's not just about that part of intimate, but you have LGBTQ communities or couples. You have interracial couples. Even religion. That's kind of like an intimate relationship.
Absolutely.
So as an organization, you need to make sure that you are providing these opportunities for your employees. You actually do need to be concerned about their social connections within the organization or outside. So how are you going to measure? So how are you going to know whether the connections are there or not? We're a big fan of surveys. Big fan of surveys. So you got to ask people. And you got to survey based on those different buckets. Like, do you feel like you have a professional mentor? Do you have a best friend at work for lifestyle? Do you have, there's all sorts of questions. So then there's that. You also have, for example, different ways to collect that. So, for example, moth series or employee resource groups where you bring people together and they have conversations, open forums where the CEO is up on the stage and can hand a mic to them. So there's all these different ways to collect that information, and then you can kind of measure it and then make decisions based on data.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing is there are kind of structured processes out there that can help organize the social connection more effectively.
Yeah. And, what we call it is we meet with companies. We tell them, what is your social connection strategy? So that's what we help companies build. So 2 years from now, we like to say, start 2 years out. And where's your annual retreat going to be in 2 years? And what is the purpose of that annual retreat? Well, we need to get some data. Okay, we saw this data, and the data came back and said we don't have any lifestyle connections. All right, well, maybe at this annual retreat, we need to ask people what they like to do, and maybe we should do some mountain biking or painting or, making beer taps, right? Like, we need to like really go in there. So build out a plan, and this plan, the strategy, and then give it to your employees so that they can prepare for it. So 2 years out, you have the annual retreat. Then maybe 18 months out, maybe you have a little regional retreat. Maybe you have a virtual. So that's the other thing. Like, we don't need to throw out virtual events because you can make connections online. So you got to have a good combination of virtual events, after hour events, maybe happy hours, build that strategy and then post it.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's fascinating. So the big topic is obviously remote work here at Lead Summit, Washington, D.C.
Shout out at Citizen M Hotel. Thank you for having us.
But I want to dig in a little bit deeper. And you just touched on it a little bit with the concept of small, more local focused in-person meetings.
Yes.
How do those play in the building of the connections?
Oh, huge. And earlier we had my brother Hampton. Shout out Hampton. They play a huge role.
Yeah.
They play a huge role in building and maintaining connections, right?
Okay.
Like, we're here today and we were hugging and loving. This is the first time we met a lot of people. We've had some people on the podcast before, but we've never met Chris Dyer.
Nope.
It was cool to meet him in person. So it plays a really critical role in the small gatherings and venues like Citizen M, which is kind of more of a boutique style. It's not a huge, giant hotel. It's really, really critical to get smaller groups together so that they build a little tighter of a connection. Everyone remembers going to a large conference. Everyone remembers going to this huge event and it almost feeling overwhelming. It's hard to network and meet people in these huge, huge events. So these small settings offer local teams, or not even local. Like, local teams are great, but you could have regional teams. It's critical to include those small meetups, those small opportunities to connect as part of your social connection strategy, your plan. So it plays a huge role. And then, like, with onboarding, that's why I was bringing up Hampton. Like, with onboarding those cohorts, when you build a cohort, those are lasting relationships, and you can't really build that tight cohort with somebody that you've really never met.
Right.
So that can keep people from quitting your company, from going to another company. Like, oh man, because a lot of people don't want to ask a question and be like, geez, who do I ask? Like, I just got the job. I don't want to sound like an idiot.
Intimidated.
I'm intimidated. Who can I ask? Oh, you know what? I got hired with Rick.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Rick if he's dealing with the same thing because I know he's in my shoes. So,
because I know him. Talked to him already.
Right. Yeah. We have a connection. We both got hired at the same time, right? Right.
I'm learning so much this weekend. I love it.
Yeah, it's been intense. It's been great.
This has been a great time. So I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Throw out something embarrassing about yourself that not a lot of people know.
Ooh.
No, let's turn up the microphone on this
I
one.
can't share this one.
Why not? You made everyone else share theirs.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I'm going to tell this story that's never been told before. So, in 1999, New Year's Eve to 2000, we all thought the world was going to end. You remember that Y2K?
I remember.
I was hoping my college loans were going to go to zero because all the computers were going to be all messed up.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. Fortunately, I woke up in the hospital in the year 2000. Had a good time.
Thinking that you'd time traveled?
I had time traveled, and when I woke up to a doctor stitching my chin.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an embarrassing thing. There's a lot more to the story, but y'all ain't getting that.
Oh boy. Well, I guess we'll have to wait till next time. This will come up again, I promise.
Definitely.
We got it on film now.
Definitely.
So Kaleem Clarkson, thank you for your time. Tell us viewers, where can they find you?
Well, you can find us at Remotely We Are One Podcast.
Indeed.
Everywhere that you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can find me personally on LinkedIn, big LinkedIn person, Kaleem Clarkson. And obviously, you can find me on Twitter as well, Kaleem Clarkson. Haven't been tweeting too much, but and I'm on that TikTok now, so check me out.
Ticker talker. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your insight, and I love learning from you. It's a great conversation. So
Awesome. Thank you. Peace.
You've been listening to the Remotely We Are One podcast. Visit us at remotely1.com/podcast for upcoming episodes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and download our episodes on your favorite podcast app.
Hey, don't forget to clock out.